We will now look at Unit 9, Lesson 2. Today we're going to be verifying trig identities. In Lesson 1, we looked at some of the algebra skills required to simplify expressions. When we verify a trig identity, we're basically going to do the same exact procedure. We're going to be given an equation. We're going to choose one side of the equation, which we will manipulate. Our goal is to use legal algebra to transform it to look like the other side of the equation. There are some guidelines for verifying trig identities. It is usually best to pick the more complex side of an equation. Work with only one side at a time. In the initial problems that we do, especially early in the homework, you will only need to work with one side. There are times when you will have to manipulate both sides separately, simplifying each side until they become the same. Secondly, look for opportunities based on the terms that you're given. Look to factor, add fractions using LCD, square a binomial, or create a monomial denominator. Look for opportunities to use the fundamental identities. Remember, you can only use the identities most of the time involving 1 and one of the trig functions squared. Watch your signs. Oftentimes, when you do use the trig identities, you will be able to then factor, cancel, etc. If the previous steps don't work, one other option is to take all of your functions back to sine and cosine. If you reduce them all to at least 2 different trig functions, you have a better chance of being able to reduce and simplify. Lastly, you must try something. Don't just give up, right? The more you do these, the better your brain gets at recognizing the patterns and successfully accomplishing the goals. If we look at the first example in your notes, this is an example of a trig equation. The left side is very obviously more complicated. I've highlighted it in red.